Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for choosing to watch this video today. I'm speaking with today Emmie, Claire, Charlotte, Kirsty and Lizzie, all friends of mine who are fellow theatre bloggers and YouTubers who create their own content and are all brilliant. All their links are in the description. We all met basically through lockdown and taking part in a WhatsApp group that Lizzie created called The Show Must Go On, where we participated in watch-alongs, Zoom quizzes, and various things like that. These are all kind of friends for life now because of meeting through that, and they're all wonderful people. I hope you enjoy this conversation with these guys.
Hi. So if we're doing it alphabetically, I'm Claire. I do have a blog, but I don't really write in it, and I mainly do YouTube stuff on the Theatre Necessities.
Okay, I'm Emmie and I write a blog named Theatre and Tonic, which is in its 8th year this year. I also host a radio show on Box Office Radio, and I write for West End Best Friend and London Theatre Direct. There you go, me in a nutshell.
I'm Kirsty. I have my own blog called From Page to Stage, and I also write for Love London, Love Culture and London Theatre Reviews.
I'm Lizzie and I run the I've Bought Another Ticket Instagram page and blog.
Amazing. So for people who don't know, all of us met basically because Lizzie here started a WhatsApp group in 2020, 2 years ago. It seems ages ago now. And yeah, so we've all kind of connected through lockdown and made friendships through that. I will ask a little bit more about that later on. But going back to where you guys started with your blogs, how did you get into writing about theatre? What was it inspired you to start creating kind of online content that you do?
I'll go first on this one. So I started whilst I was studying a dance degree at Coventry University. So we used to write blogs about our dance degrees. And then it was something I really kind of got really interested in. And in my third year, I just kind of decided that I didn't want to perform anymore. And I wanted to kind of find a way of still staying in the kind of the dance world and the theatre world, but without kind of being a performer. And so discovering blogging was a really nice way of kind of still being in that realm. But I didn't really start blogging until like a year after I left. So that's really how I started.
So my story kind of comes from a long time ago, writing blog posts and doing videos on a different subject matter. But I became more interested in like theatre things. I've always loved theatre. And a few faces that have started doing YouTube videos of going to shows, like showing what their seat looked like, and then reviewing it afterwards. And I was like, okay, I already do the YouTube somewhere else doing something else, but it'd be quite cool to do it for myself. And it actually gave me a chance to see more things that I probably hadn't seen already because I was getting content out of it as well. So it broadened my horizons and showed me new shows. So yeah, that's the way I did it.
I actually started 3 years ago today.
Yay!
So,
Happy birthday!
I was at Matilda in Cardiff on tour, and I came out and just wrote a few notes in my phone about it, and then like within the week had posted my first blog post. And like for ages I've been thinking like, oh, I should probably write notes. I've always got something to say, and like your sort of parents and stuff get bored if you just going on and on about stuff. And like all my friends were sort of like, oh, why do you keep posting on Instagram about theatre and stuff? Like you should do it separately. So in the end I just did it. And that was like the better decision.
I've always loved writing. I did a journalism degree and always wanted to have my own blog, but never quite had the motivation to do it. And then about 3 years ago on Twitter, I saw the Old Vic doing OV Connect each month, where they connect various people across the industry. And I saw somebody from Love London, Love Culture advertising for reviewers. And I just started working in London, so thought I'd get involved in that. And then started reviewing for other websites, and then thought, actually, I want to do my own. So it kind of spiraled off there.
Amazing. And as you all guys say, you guys have been doing it for kind of 3 years or longer kind of thing. What has been kind of your favorite thing about blogging or YouTube video making in that time?
I think for me, I just like how theatre has evolved over that time, because it's not so traditional now. In my kind of section, I don't think it is as traditional now. So for me, I'd like to see how theatre has evolved and how we've been able to be more open and accepting of new theatre. And just a highlight for me, I think, as well, is being able to reconnect or like connect with, you know, people from the industry, because you don't get those opportunities a lot. So it's really nice to have those conversations and to talk about the things that really, you know, we don't really talk about in theatre a lot. You know, it's all kind of, we like to talk about the shows, but actually there's a lot of like topics and a lot of arguments, let's say, at the moment, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that's for me.
I think like the build up, like, because when you're sort of not really interested in it, you sort of get the brochure for your local theatre through the post, and you think, oh, I might go and see that show, that looks good. Whereas now you sort of see it on Twitter, see it's coming, you got like the 6 month, 9 month build up, and you get all the sort of like pre-show before it's even on stage. And I think the excitement is a lot more now than when shows were just sort of announced like through your local theatre, just showing a poster of what's coming up or whatever.
What I really love about it is that it's introduced me to shows that I wouldn't have normally gone to see or heard about. So beforehand, I would go and see the West End shows, you know, the typical ones, which, like Lizzie said, are advertised everywhere. Whereas it's kind of opened a new door for more local theatre and fringe theatre as well. And just, I think, proves that they can be just as good as the West End shows as well.
For me, I like the community-based aspect of it, especially through like Twitter, as Lizzie said. Yeah, the fact that you can talk to people you've never met before and make new friends like we have now is just a great experience. Like, even just sitting in a theatre, sometimes you can have a chat with someone you've never known before and have a chat about what you've watched and what you're going to watch, what you're excited about. And I like talking to people. And having YouTube or having Twitter is a way of discovering new people, I suppose.
Hi, so my name's Charlotte Hutchison. I'm based in Bolton, and I've been writing theatre scribbles since 2015.
Going back though to the start, guys, the literal start, not like when you were a baby, I don't mean that far back, but what was the first piece of theatre that you remember having an impact on you? Not specifically the first piece of theatre you saw, because you probably can't remember it, but what was like the first one that stands out as the memorable one?
For me, it was Joseph. I was about 7, and I remember saying to my dad, why is everybody singing all the time? Why aren't they talking like normal people? That, I think, opened me up to what musicals could be, that they don't have to be sung, talking like normal people do.
I think mine was We Will Rock You, actually. It's I kind of got into musicals a bit later, and a uni friend introduced me to it, and we literally spent probably our entire student loan just going up to London. It's the first show I got into. Just going on from what Claire said, there was a kind of community around it as well, and it was just silly but fun, and it just kind of sparked my love for theatre. So that's all for me.
I've actually thought of mine now. Thank you, Kirsty. So mine is probably Rent, you know, because it's my all-time favourite. But I just remember the first time I ever watched that, it was at a house party, very traditional college house party with theatre people. And I just remember my friend saying, oh, you need to watch this musical because it's not like anything you've ever seen before. and it will change you. It will do something to you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I came out the other side absolutely blubbering. And I think that for me is just a moment I'll always remember, is watching that musical. And it has stuck with me ever since.
Which one did you watch? Was it the film or the film?
It was the film.
Okay.
Probably Chitty Chitty Bang Bang at the Palladium.
Yes.
Much like that.
Like
Yes.
Because
Yes, I have a
of
poster.
like the flying car and stuff. Like it was obviously, when you're a kid, that's just the most incredible thing ever. And it was for my mum's 40th birthday, so it was kind of like a nice family day out. And my dad had only told me, he hadn't told my mum or my brother, and so it was like our little secret that we were going to see the show. So it was just like a really special day, and also like a really special show as well, because it was so spectacular.
Agreed on that. Go on, Claire.
Mine, I think, is Legally Blonde, when it was at the Savoy Theatre, because it was my first experience in London seeing a show. I'd only really been to the Wolves Grand, which is my local, which I love, but seeing something in a massive theatre in the centre of London is pretty cool. Plus that show is epic. Really excited for it to be back in London, hopefully in summer this year.
Yes.
Yeah, the Savoy is a weird theatre to be my first theatre, but it's stuck with me forever.
Lizzie has made this question happen, basically. Did you guys do any performing when you were younger? I know Emmie kind of already mentioned that she did like dance training.
goose.
Emmie's done like dance training, but like, have you guys like ever had that urge to either like amateur stuff or do any performing yourselves?
I used to when I was little. I mean, in the village where we live, they used to do pantomimes every year, and it was just the kids. The cast, they were just kids pantos, so really rubbish, really cheesy, everything. But I got involved in those, and then I grew up too old for them, and I didn't really do much when I was in high school. I was more of a music kid than a drama kid. I mean, actually, my drama teacher, I remember telling me when I was deciding my GCSE options, I was toying between drama and music. And my drama teacher told me, go for music, because even though like you're great in the drama lessons, you're really good at performing, I think you're really going to struggle with the written side. And yeah, she was probably right. So I turned for music instead. So I didn't get really involved in the shows and stuff. I played violin, and they didn't really call for string instruments until in year 13 I was called up to be in the pit for Billy Elliot, and that was a really cool experience, actually getting to finally be involved in one of the school shows. And then I'd love to do Amdram. I don't have the time, is all honesty, but it's something that I would absolutely love to do if there were more hours in the day.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else got any? I know Lizzie's mentioned her Alien as a child.
That was my one and only attempt at acting.
Do you know what? I bet it was an Oscar-winning performance to last you a lifetime, love.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Probably was. But that is very solid. Like I say, I mean, I did like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think, at school. I was Oompa Loompa, of course. Always the best part. Probably had a green face.
Please, you've got to show some photos of that, please.
If I've got any to film.
Everyone's got really cool shows, and I had to be an alien.
I know it's been a difficult kind of couple of years, but say in the last 5 years, what has been the one standout piece of theatre for you?
Oh, can I have can I just give you a couple?
You can have top three.
Yeah, I've got three.
Okay, top three. Okay. Amelie's an easy one, just because Amelie was the first show. Thanks, Claire. Amelie was the first show I saw post-pandemic, like in the West End, and I think that was a really special moment. The Boy in the Dress, which definitely needs to come back. And if it doesn't come back, then I am going to head over to the RSC myself and get it sorted. And actually, probably a surprising one, but The Colour Purple, curves at home, because I think, like we said, I said earlier, you know, it's amazing how much theatre has evolved, and probably more so in the last couple of years. And it just shows that theatre can be accessible without sitting in a theatre.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're the top three for me.
Probably the opening night of Moulin Rouge, just because it was such a sort of spectacle, and you just, because it was the opening night, you weren't expecting like how incredible and spectacular it was. And I think like the whole event, as from like the moment people stepped in and sort of saw the whole set and everything, I think it just sort of made it really special. Because the whole like thing from when you step into the theatre is the show and not just the actual show. I'm just going to do one. That's my one.
Solid one as well.
So I think I'm going with three. One was Aladdin at Prince Edward, because I actually got to meet Aladdin at the end. I can't remember why. They were collecting for some charity or other, I can't fully remember. And it was
pre-COVID times, right?
Pre-COVID, yeah, got to put that
Just
out
checking.
there. It was pre-COVID. And it was Matthew Croak playing Aladdin at the time, so gorgeous. And I got to have a picture with him. I think I was that close to getting his number, and my best friend had to drag me away from him. So that's something that's not going to leave my head for a while.
If you're watching, Charlotte would like your number, please.
Please, that would be appreciated. Then my second one is the reopening night of Anne Juliet after COVID. That was ridiculous. They gave us a mini bottle of Prosecco beforehand, of course, and just the atmosphere in there was incredible. There was a standing ovation after every song, who had gone for ages and ages and ages. I've never done an atmosphere like it. And then my third one was a few years ago now, but if anyone's been to the Royal Exchange in Manchester, I highly recommend you go. They do some really unique work there. But the best thing I saw there was actually the first thing I saw there, and that is Little Shop of Horrors. And just, it's the way that they did the plants. They couldn't do it a conventional Audrey 2 style because it's a theatre in the round. So you'd obviously have half the theatre being able to see the contraptions and the magic will be lost, etc., etc. So they did it so Audrey 2 was on wheels and could turn the full 60 degrees. And the design wise, it was a combination of like some orchid, the alien out of Alien, and instead of swallowing its victim through its mouth, it opened out its stomach. And the stomach looked like the Starlight Pit from Star Wars, grabbed its victim straight in. It was incredible. I'd never seen anything like it. That completely blew my mind.
Feels ill.
I absolutely loved it.
I can't narrow it down to one. Emmie's already mentioned Amelie, so I'll let her have that one. But Romantics Anonymous, I don't know if anyone's seen that.
Yes.
I saw it just before we went into lockdown, and it was just so beautiful, and I love it. I would say the current production of Cabaret, no spoilers, but it was just incredible. And Jessie Buckley's performance of the title number, even now, is still giving me like shivers. So that I would say. And I'm also going to pick a play for my third one, and that's A View from the Bridge from The Young Vic, with Mark Strong. And it was so, they built up the tension so beautifully that by the end, my friend and I couldn't speak and was physically shaking at the end of the show, and no show has ever done that for me. So I would say that one as well.
Okay, so like two other people, well, three if we class Mark. One of them is Amelie. Mainly because it kind of got drip fed through.
I wouldn't say drip fed, like fed.
But it was kind of subtly hinted that I needed to go and watch it when it came back by a few people. And I ended up in the end going twice in the space of 2 weeks, once alone and then once with most of the people here, which was a very good experience. So that was definitely one. Second one is also on my wall, Rent at the Hope Mill, because it was epic. It was actually my first time ever seeing it live. I'd only ever seen the film, so it gave a whole different view of the thing to me. And then my third one is a bit of a wild card, but I really enjoyed it, and I do wish it to be come back. And that was What's New Pussycat, which was at the Birmingham Rec.
Yeah, I'm gutted I missed that.
I went in completely blind. All I knew was that it was the music of Tom Jones, and I loved it. Had a great afternoon, and really do hope it has another life. So that's my third.
This is going to be a question that you may go biased and pick your local. You don't have to, but if you feel free. But what is your favourite theatre to visit?
Ooh.
You can go biased and pick your local, because I mean, like, we're
I'm
all...
not going to pick my local, although big love to the Curve. But actually, over the years, I've become a bit of a massive fan of the RSC, like more than I ever thought I would. The location is stunning. And me and Mark were very lucky to do behind the scenes for The Boy in the Dress a couple of years ago, and to see how that theatre like functions behind the scenes is pretty damn incredible. They have a lot of like costume areas like in the round bit, like, do you know where people go in? A lot of their costume areas are actually in the round bit, and they're all hidden away behind curtains, and I just think it's really fascinating. And I just love that theatre, and it's just, there's such a lovely team there anyway, and I love the work they do, because they don't just do the traditional Shakespeare stuff, which is not to my taste, but they've opened my eyes to a lot more new musicals and new shows that I wouldn't necessarily go and see. So yeah, big up RSC. But I do love the Curve, just put it out there.
I mean, to be honest, I think being from the Manchester area, I'm kind of spoiled for choice. There's so many there. I mean, obviously you've got the Palace, Opera and the Lowry, and 99% of the tours, like, it's guaranteed at least one of those three, so they're quite special. But I've already mentioned the Royal Exchange before, and they do a musical around Christmas more than anything else. The way that they do them, that they take these classic ones, so Little Shop of Horrors, West Side Story, The Producers, Gypsy, and just done them in a completely fresh way that you won't see anywhere else. So I think I'm going to go for that one, and also for pretty much the same reasons, the Hope Mill. It's also one of my good. Just the work that they do there, I think anyone who's been there can agree, it's just off the wall. I mean, Rent, The Wiz, I'd seen a couple of performances of Spring Awakening and Maine there as well, and Pippin. So yeah, the work that they do there is just incredible.
I really love the Young Vic in London, because I think going there is like a whole experience, even just going to the restaurant beforehand. I think the staff are just lovely, and it's not just about you going to see a show, it's the whole experience. And I also think the shows they've put on in the past 5 or so years have just been incredible. And also you can get a ticket for a London theatre for £10, and it's incredible views. There's not a bad seat in the house, so there's not many places in London where you can get that. I also love the Coliseum just because it's beautiful inside. But
so do love the Wolves Grand. It's one of my favourite places in the world. But outside of Wolverhampton, because there is a world outside Wolverhampton sometime, I do in London, I love the other Palace. I haven't been back since it's reopened, but before, I always love going there because it's still kind of central London, but it's not quite central London. The theatre itself is really welcoming. The staff, like Kirsty said, at her theatre, staff always I've found really lovely there, and you always get something maybe you might not have heard of, or something that just has an amazing life. And yeah, I just love it at the other Palace. Lizzie.
I really like the Cardiff Millennium Centre.
Oh, I love that place.
really, really
Never
new. Well, not new, but it's 20 years old now. But it still feels new, and it's all wood, and there's just so much history, and it's just a really nice place to go.
It's a nice location around there as well.
And I always go there with sort of family and stuff, because all my family live in Wales, so it's always a place where we go at Christmas and things. So that's mine.
Amazing. I know it's hard because obviously, like, as bloggers and stuff, it's sometimes you have to be impartial sometimes. But do you guys have any performers or creatives who work you'd always look out for to go and see?
Nikolai Foster, definitely.
Yes.
I just love him. Like, I know it's a Leicester thing, but I think what he's done for the Kerr Theatre since he's been here has been amazing, and he's always up for doing new things which are different, and he keeps community very much at the heart of it. He wants to keep everything Leicester and had the pride of Leicester on it, which is really great, because Leicester doesn't get a lot of praise, let's be honest. We have a decent football team sometimes.
We do.
But other than that, we're not a city that has a lot going for it. You know, we are very multicultural and stuff, but I think theatre now for us, it's putting us more on the map. And that's all down to Nikolai, to be honest. So yeah, him.
What about Danny Mac?
I was going to say.
Wow.
If he's watching as well. Hello.
I mean, anything with Danny Mac in is a winner chicken dinner. But when we're talking about the people at the heart of it, Nikolai Foster, but when Nikolai puts a lot of Danny Mac in his production, then that's even better. That's like a double whammy, that is, isn't it? So hopefully Nikolai is auditioning. Yeah, or can Nikolai audition Danny Mac to play Billy's dad? Billy, questionable, but Billy's dad and Billy Elliot. It might work. Who knows?
No, not Billy's dad. He'd have to be the brother.
The brother.
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah, the brother. Okay, yeah, he can do the brother. There we go.
Then he's got to get his face bruised.
Or the Tin Man. Save it for Wizard of Oz.
I'd give him my heart any day.
Oh,
Cheese.
I would say Jodie Prenger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
She is, yeah. She can write as well. I mean, I didn't know she could really do that until like the Cinderella panto that she wrote for the Turbine. That was hilarious. I watched that about 5 times when that came out. But no, she's always been someone who's inspired me, to be honest, especially as someone who's big on the bigger side, like myself, who's actually made it and won a public vote to play a part like Nancy, and seen her career soar from that. And okay, yeah, she's from Lancashire as well, so also there's also that. But no, I absolutely love her. So I'd probably say, yeah, I'm gonna say Jodie Prenger.
I think if I find someone that I quite enjoy watching, I kind of keep an eye on where they go next.
Yeah.
Stalks them.
But but
I don't do that, by the way.
But yeah, I don't think I have one particular person, but I do like to keep an eye on people that I enjoy watching and try and catch them in things again, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like kind of recognizing people in programs and saying, I saw that show, rather than sort of 1 or 2 people to sort of
especially if
time.
somebody the first time you saw them were like in an ensemble, like a really small part, and then the next thing I get is something huge.
And in all the shows, like you said, Charlotte, with the like I Do Anything and Any Dream Will Do and all those shows, like it's been really interesting following so many of the people from those have gone off to do so many different things and get so many crazy roles. So yeah.
Moving forward though to future times, what show or shows are you most looking forward to seeing this year?
The Share Show.
Mm-hmm.
The Share Show.
The Share Show.
The Share Show.
Get a contraband.
Becomes a bit of free advertising.
This show, guys, this show.
Yeah,
Show.
Where that from? I don't know.
I don't know. Ask yourself. There's loads coming up this year that I'm actually really excited for. I'm excited to see The Wiz online because it's not easy to get to places, and I think hopefully the Hope Mill will show other theatres that they need to start doing this because it's a way of bringing audiences in. I really want to go to Regent's Open Air. Is that what it's called? Open Air? Yeah, theatre, that one. They've got lots of great stuff coming up this summer, and I'd really like to go there because it's a theatre I've not been to, and I'm quite intrigued. And then Billy Elliot at Christmas in the summer is something I'm very excited about. Anyone else? Claire, what are you excited about?
Go on.
I too want to watch Billy Elliot. Thank you very much for asking. I haven't seen Waitress yet. I want to see that again. I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast yet. I want to see that. Haven't seen Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe yet. I want to see that again.
That's so good.
Did you like it, Charlotte?
Yeah, I did. It was weird. Yeah.
I'm so nostalgic with that cast being in it, though. It's really strange.
It's like, so it just spotted all the Amelie alumni. It's like, that person was Amelie, that person was Amelie. I was like, oh my God, Chris Jarrett. Woo!
There we go.
What else are you excited for, Claire? Sorry, I interrupted.
Go on.
Something else. Legally Blonde at the Regent's Open Air. So maybe I might take you.
Yeah, can we all go? Let's all go.
Can we pick a nice weather day though?
Okay.
If possible.
We'll try.
Yeah.
We can try.
We'll try.
Just take a poncho in case. Be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really would like to see the ocean at the end of a lane.
Yeah.
At the Duke of York's. So I just finished the book. I liked it. I thought it was okay. So I'd like to see it, how they translate the book to stage. And also Choir Man.
Yeah.
That sounds so good. It's like I can't really think of anything else like it. It's like maybe once, but other than that, I love the sound of the concept that it's all set in a pub and it's just a big old knees up and all that. Yeah, I'll also add my name to Legally Blonde, please.
I'll also add my name to Legally Blonde and Billy Elliot and the Cher Show. I'm excited to see the ocean at the end of the lane again because I think it's better than the book. And also Pride and Prejudice, sort of. I'm really gutted that it's closing early, but I'm excited to see it before it closes and then moves on. And in terms of plays, I'm really excited to see Jerusalem because for years so many people have told me it's the best thing they've ever seen and I want to hold them to it. So yeah, that's it for me.
I'm excited. I'm just really excited to see the Bat Out of Hell tour because I really enjoyed that show in London. I'm hopefully going to go next week, but just trying to sort out dates.
They're a good cast, to be fair.
And I really like Rob Fowler and Sharon Sexton. I think they're really good.
Mary Poppins,
even though it's
not going.
Yeah, the Coliseum.
Yes.
What do you want to see this year?
I'm looking forward to hopefully one point that Birmingham rep will actually announce what they're doing with Something Rotten because I have tickets about 2 years ago and I don't know what's happening there. Same with Half a Sixpence at Kilworth House. I mean, that was like 2 years ago that I booked that, and I think that's finally actually happening this year. And Carousel as well, because they'll both be really good because they tend to do good things. And just kind of, I guess, like because of like last year and a bit where we didn't have theatres, just seeing everything in it again, like plays, hopefully, kind of like stuff like.
Yeah, I think that's something I definitely want to do this year. Like, I don't see enough plays.
Yeah, it's like mixing up a bit, like the jungle.
Yeah, and I think, and I feel like this year I just need to go, right, look, it is a play, but try and watch more plays, watch something other than musicals. It's quite nice to open your horizon, broaden your horizons to new things.
Yes, seeing like different stuff. I mean, like I could list all the stuff like Rocky Horror again and go on Saturday. That's like really good. And then like Lion, the Witch and Wardrobe again. Like all this, like seeing the things you've seen, like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That's coming soon at the Curve. Stuff like that, basically. Everything, though. Everything and anything. I will go and see it. If you've got a ticket, send it my way, and I will be there. Thanks. Thanks. But thinking about a fantasy moment, and you can adopt any book or movie that you've seen in the past into a musical or play, what would you adapt?
The Brave Little Toaster.
What is that?
I'm surprised you didn't say DuckTales.
That would be anything.
Do you not know what the Brave Little Toaster is?
No.
Let me show you a picture.
Is that the Disney film? Is it a Disney film?
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird ass film from the 80s or something.
Yeah, look.
Well, that's just enough.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the Blankie?
Oh.
Oh, mate, you need to watch it. Yeah, the Brave Little Toaster, because I think that'd be really good for kids.
Is it on Disney Plus?
I don't think it is, you know.
Oh,
How
Wow.
disappointing. And the Page Master would be a great show. Does anyone know what the Page Master is? I bet you're all going to go, no, I don't know what that is.
No.
Sorry.
I'm so disappointed. Kirsty, do you know what the Page Master is? What is wrong with you people? It came out in like the 90s, and it's a film about this boy. The boy in oh my god, like Richie Rich. What's his name?
Macaulay Culkin.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this
Why did
kid,
you pick
and he
that
goes
one?
and he goes on his bike, he goes to the library, and then his library turns into like the world of books. So there's a horror, there's a fantasy, and a fairy tale, and they're like book characters, and they take him through like the stories to get him home, and it's really lovely. And I just think like the world would look amazing, and I could be horror because he's really cute.
That's a good RSC sounding show. That there you go, RSC.
It is, isn't it? I might have to pass over to them. Anyway, anyone else before I fall out with you all because you don't know?
Because we don't read.
Not a ball.
I'd love to see them either do The Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride.
Oh yes.
I think
Oh
that would
my
be
God,
really
yes.
cool. So if they got the right person to do the world building, that could look incredible.
Yeah.
It's
The
hard
only
to-
one I could think of, it's really basic, but just like Greatest Showman or something, like
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just sort of just screaming to be a show, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
But then
Michael
I thought-
in that though?
I will only accept it though if they cast Jeremy Jordan as Barnum.
Yeah.
Or Danny Mac.
I thought as well, if Disney wanted to take on like Toy Story or Monsters Inc., then that could be quite cool.
that'd be good.
Like Monsters
There's
Inc.
a
would be
snake
really
in
cool
my
with like
boot.
the doors that come down and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Song name.
In terms of
You're
books,
my favorite.
Maybe we should do it.
Okay.
What would Kirsty like? Come on, Kirsty.
Okay, right.
well, see, I always wanted Moulin Rouge into a musical, and then it happened. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
but in
So
terms
you
of
are
books,
the future predictor.
See,
Yeah.
Page Master and the Brave Little Taster are on their way.
in terms of books, I don't know if anyone's read The Night Circus, but that is
Yes.
calling out to be a play.
That is a great book.
Yeah, and maybe The Midnight Library as well, if you got a good director, and so that would be really good.
That would be. I love that book.
Yeah.
There you
Mate, come on, let's get our heads together. Brave Little Toaster for an opening picture, and then we'll go to the Night Circus. Then we can go and do what one was just talking about? The Midnight Library, and then we can finish off the year with the Page Master. There we
You're
go.
having a residency somewhere then.
go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take over. If you could have dinner with 3 theatrical guests, alive or dead, doesn't have to be the people who are alive now. Who are you inviting?
Okay, Danny Mac, obviously. Hot Page.
Oh,
Hot
solid.
Page.
That's a good shout.
yeah.
And Lucy Jones.
Very interesting. It's all sound that.
I think Patti LuPone would be a good one.
Yes.
Yes.
I reckon
She
she'd get
was
absolutely rattoshed.
Yeah.
Well, but
Get her to sing Lady Who
she'd, have-
Lumps.
she'd be the one with all the gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
it. Get a couple of drinks in her, she'd be off.
Anyone else? You can have three. You can have three. You don't just have her. You can just have her. But you...
I was thinking Julie Andrews, obviously.
Shout.
Oh.
And maybe like Ron Moody. He's really funny.
Yes.
And he'd have a lot of Oliver stories, and I really love Oliver.
And Dick Van
I would
Dyke,
have.
obviously.
Yeah, I was going to
Yes.
say that, but that's so cliche of me.
I would have Aaron Tveit, obviously, to sing me Moulin Rouge the whole time. And possibly Ian McKellen and Judi Dench, because I think they would have really good stories as well. And if one of them can turn up, Dick Van Dyke.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Guy.
That's a good one.
It'd be so good.
that's
Yeah.
solid.
You could do a little dance as well while you waited for the food. It would be cool.
So much.
The
You have to
Fun
dance for
Bar.
your food, Dick Van Dyke.
Entertain me.
Go on then.
I only got 2 in the end. I've been pondering all day. But I've got Simon Lipkin because he's hilarious, 1, and 2, he does magic.
Amazing.
And the other one I thought about was Amy Atkinson, just so I can stare at her, not in a weird way. I just think she's amazingly
Okay.
beautiful. Thank you.
Mm.
How do you feel about theatre going forwards, and what would you like to see change and happen and be different from here on in, or should have already happened really? But what would you like?
Well, number one, can we have more funding? That would be lovely.
Mhm.
And it just have a bit of an acknowledgement from the government, because I think at the moment, as much as I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's really exciting, like theatre this year, it's still scary times. And I still think that we're going to have more cancellations as we go on over the next couple of months. And then later in the year, I think we could have another spike. So I think it needs to be acknowledged. But I also think that we should be utilising theatre for schools and community groups, because actually we've all been through a really crap time, and theatre is a fantastic form of escapism and is a really good tool for mental health. And so I think that, yes, it's really exciting, and I feel like, yes, we could have a really good year, but I think right now we need to utilise what we have to outreach to our communities and ensure that theatre is making its way to them, because we all need it.
I echo what Emmie says, and also I think I'd like to see more theatres learn to be a bit more accessible and give more online streams, because I think if the pandemic taught them anything, it's that people will watch, they just can't necessarily perhaps either afford or get to the theatre. And you only had to look at when the National Theatre did their YouTube one, how many thousands of people were watching, to know that there is an audience out there. And like Emmie said, COVID is going to be around for a while, and there are going to be people who are a bit apprehensive about going to the theatre, so they'll still get the money and people can still see some good theatre. So I'd like to see that continue.
And also having them on online's good, but also having them on BBC and iPlayer and Sky Arts made such a difference over Christmas. Yeah. And it's so, if they film most shows anyway, so having them on BBC a couple of years later isn't going to make much difference. Like, people will still go and see it.
Yeah,
so,
and it does, and it gives some people an opportunity to go and see it afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes people forget that it's not, yes, it's a great tool for getting audiences in for that one thing, but actually it creates a lasting, it creates a ripple, doesn't it? Because you might see something from like a show, you know, like The Curve, you know, some people might have never been to The Curve in their life, you know, but they bought a ticket to Sunset Boulevard or The Colour Purple, and then they've gone, oh, I really like what they do. I'm going to buy more tickets for that theatre. So it does create a ripple. But I think a lot of theatres are just too scared, not too scared, but they don't utilise their resources enough. They like to just put all of their eggs in one basket and go very traditional with how they see a show. But maybe the pandemic has made them, it needs to make them question, actually, what is the most traditional way of accessing theatre now we're in 2022?
Yeah, because
Like I think they would generally make quite a lot of money. So like the Royal Opera House film productions and then sell them on DVD in their shops. Like places like the Curve and Chichester and stuff could sell their productions for a tenner and make so much money just from people who've missed it or couldn't get there at the time or whatever.
Yeah. What were you saying, Kirsty?
No, I was just going to say my one of my local theatres, the Wolsey in Ipswich, for their pantomime, they sold in-person tickets and online tickets, and they did quite well. And it wasn't until January they had cancellations, but then they offered people a refund or the chance to watch the online thing. And I think a lot of people still went for the online, you know, and they still made money out of it. So I think it's a good option.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, going back, I can't remember who it was who mentioned the National Theatre programme that they did. And okay, thanks. And I kind of wish that had been extended for a bit longer. Like, I know they've got their version of Netflix or whatever, but I mean, it's if you're gonna have like there's people who are going to be committed to like paying a subscription fee for, well, another one on top of Netflix and all this kind of stuff for all this content that they have out there, but rather than just the ones that, like, if they want to just chip on and change like once a week or something like that. I think the good thing about when they first put it out and that it would be a new play every week, that you wouldn't necessarily feel obligated to watch that particular one. So if you weren't interested in that particular one, it didn't make too much of a difference. So I hope they kind of go back to that, even if it's for a bit, and release some of the ones that they didn't do the first time. Like, I've got, like, why they didn't put Warhorse out, I would never understand, because that would have got so many people watching and so many donations coming in, that if they did it for a limited thing and just put, if they planned it wisely, I think, and put the right productions out there, I think that could really serve them. And yeah, just some of the other theatres as well will do that as well, as like the Old Vic maybe and things like that. Oh, and I like how they do it. It's kind of like a pay what you can kind of thing, almost like treat it as like a donation more than an obligated thing.
Yeah,
so I'd like
Amelia did.
So I'd like to see more people kind of doing it with the online performances, come doing it like as a do what you can, and then that kind of helps remove another accessibility barrier.
Right, to the final question to wrap this up is what I mentioned earlier, basically we all met because of Lizzie and the WhatsApp. And like,
Lizzie, it's your fault.
So like, just kind of like, it's almost like, what does theatre mean to you? But what kind of like has all kind of this our like group done for you and helped? Obviously, like, I know it's been really helpful, and we've done a lot of like Zoom's been really good for keeping us. Don't go too cheesy, we'll all start crying. But like,
okay, no, I think it's been a good escape for us, and I think it's been a really great way of us connecting, because sometimes you stay very local. Actually, it's been really nice to meet people from around the place, although East Midlands is still better than the West Midlands.
No, it's not.
And yeah, it's just been a really nice form of escapism, but I'm still no better at quizzes. I don't feel any more knowledgeable. And my sleeping pattern is fucked. Pretty much during lockdown, it was fucked because of those quizzes. But I've met some friends for life, and when me and Jordan finally get married, you're all going to be there, and we're going to have a musical sing song, okay?
God.
I'm going to hold you to this, you know.
No, I actually want one. I want like a mega mix of like musical songs. Yeah, no, like a musical mega mix. So we'll have a bit of Joseph.
Like a surprise. We'll just start doing it in the
Then a bit of half a sixpence.
You need to get singing waiters, Emmy.
No,
no,
why do we need singer waiters?
No,
We don't need those. We don't need those when
my-
we've got all of you.
Oh, wow.
My friend had.
So when is he proposing?
They're awful.
Are they awful? Yeah, I don't want them,
My
Kirsty.
friend-
Kirsty, I don't need no ratings when I've got all of you shining
Yeah.
stars.
What about the
But you're
cast
going
of
to
Magic
wait
Mike?
to the wait.
Magic Mike people in.
You're friends for life, and you will certainly be invited to the wedding when we finally get married. And we will have a musical mega mix, including Amelie, Brent, Joseph,
Everything.
half a sixpence in tribute.
Everything.
And what else could we have? Oh, we
love
can have
it.
a bit of and then we can finish off.
Need a bit of Disco Symphony in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Big finale.
Dun.
You could
Okay,
finish
yeah.
off with like Taylor's Oldest Time or something.
That's cute. When you come down in your yellow dress. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Jordan.
Go on then, Claire. What does this mean to you? I'm going to put Claire on the spot.
Why? Basically, without getting too soppy, without you all over the last 2 years, I literally don't know what I'd be doing and how it'd be after having almost 2 years of off and on forced lockdowns. I also lost my job halfway through, and I found life quite hard. And without you all to raise me back up,
Hello, Kinky Boots.
thank you. I've got six rules, 7 rules. Oh, I don't know. Help, I don't know.
Seven
But yeah.
rules.
Yeah. Yeah, you all have been a great support to me. I love you all. Okay, I'm going to leave it here because she's laughing at me. Not for
I'm
the first
laughing
time,
at-
but still.
I was laughing at the foot Mark was trying to work out how many steps it was.
How many is it?
You were talking, like getting really deep, and he's going,
How many is it? It's been too long.
I'm going to try and not go into soppy territory here because
okay.
Emmie and Claire have kind of already done that.
We
I
will carry
think
that baton.
In a way, it's kind of kept me sane.
As it were.
I was on furlough for a good amount of time, so a lot of the time we was just kind of twiddling my thumbs, thinking like furlough was great for about a week, and then it was boring as. So there's that. And I think it was also. I think it's also the fact that you get this whole new community that I had friends who were stagey before, but not my level stagey, if that makes sense. So it's been nice to actually get to really, really know people who I can geek out when something on Twitter goes like, oh my God, is this coming to London or something like that. And a lot of my other friends don't get it. And it's nice to know that I've now got a whole community of people that do and put up with my wackiness and insaneness and everything. So that's meant a lot.
Kirsty, now it's time for you.
Ooh, okay.
Microphone.
So just the past few years have been, even outside of COVID, have been really difficult, and it's just been great to have some support and distraction from you guys. And also I think with everything in COVID and everything just get on top of you, it's easy to just get a bit demotivated by the theatre and stuff, but having you guys just constantly be excited about, like Charlotte said, you know, new shows coming and stuff, it's kind of kept my interest going and picked it up again. And also meeting some of you guys to go see Amelie was great and kind of rekindled my love for theatre as well. So thank you all.
Now to the leader of the party of the show must go on. It is Lizzie.
Hello, here I am. I think just sort of, it's so much more than just theatre now. It started off as we just watched the stream, and then the next day we were still talking, and then nearly 2 years later we still talk every day. And in that time we've sort of like done quizzes, we've done bingo, we've watched
We did
Disney
A
movies
to
every
Ed.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Disney
We-
movie, man.
we
Disney
did-
films.
Like Secret Santa, we did like Easter Sunday Jesus Christ Superstar watch. Like we've done some like crazy things, and I don't think anyone
We
else would
even-
have done
yeah.
that for that long. Like,
But we
we've
even
just
dressed up as
all sort of-
cats to win a prize and we didn't win.
Still
we've-
not happy about that one.
We've sent each other like crazy birthday cards, and like all sent each other Christmas cards, and so well, I would have if I was a bit more organised. Sorry.
Same.
Yeah, I will be this year. Promise.
Just yeah, like I never expected when I sent a message on Instagram or Twitter or whatever I'd contacted or put the post up, like to still be friends and really good friends with the people who contacted me back. Yeah, like it's just so much more than theatre, basically. Like we're all friends and I love you all. There we go.
So that leads me to thank you guys for your time, your friendship, for all the gin that you've made me drink in the last 2 years that has been excessive.
That's no. That's self-inflicted. I'm
And,
taking no responsibility.
And for surviving.
As long as you drink the gin with tonic or lemonade and not Coke.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, thank you for doing what you do, supporting theatre, being amazing friends, just being good people. Like you
Well,
said,
thank you, Mark, for always providing us with quizzes that would last just as long as this pandemic has.
as long as this video probably will be. But yeah, thank you. I'll leave your links in the description. So anyone that's watching wants to go and follow any of you guys on the social medias, go and search for them, and their blogs will be down below. You guys are amazing.
Thank you,
That's
Mark.
what matters.
Bye.
Which is gracias.
Bye bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.